Good afternoon. This week's discussion post, we were supposed to find a grant and come up with a proposal idea for some kind of historical grant. So I researched the grants listed on our module and found the Paul Brunn Historic Revitalization Grant. And I thought that would be a great one. I could find somewhere in the community that, a historic building or something like that to revitalize and revamp and restore. Especially living in the South, we have lots of old buildings, so I figured that would be a great one. So for my grant proposal, I decided that the Ryan School would be a great place in our local county to revitalize and save. So Ryan School was built in 1888, which is going to be really early in rural Alabama history, in the town of Ryan Crossroads. So Ryan Crossroads has about probably 3,000 or 4,000 people today in their small community. Would be even less of that in 1888. But so Ryan School was a high school, not kindergarten, but grade school through high school until 1972, when 5 communities joined to build one big high school in our county, and then it became a K through 8 school. Really old building. Part of it got burned down in the mid 20th century, but parts of the original building are still there. So you got a 130-ish year old building, and in later parts of it that were added on in the 50s. So that's still historical in my opinion. So the community is a poor community, farming community. So giving them something to have pride in would also be a plus. And I really am into architecture, and old schools are some of the coolest architecture things you can have around. So I think that's another reason to save it. And also, the community got the school taken away too in 2011, when they decided to close it due to low numbers. So that would give the community some sense of pride back too. So I think this would be a great grant proposal. I've looked at the Paul Brunn historic grants in the past, and they have granted for several schools to be restored and turned into community centers and stuff like that. So I do think it would have a chance to get approved. It being in a small rural community would be its issue. How much use would it get? And then you'd have to get down in there and really see, it's been abandoned for 10, 12 years. Is it possible to revamp and have it be a functioning building? I don't know that for sure. But, maybe just restore, part of it. The front of it, the historic face of that school could be a great thing for the community, and architecture and, pride for the county. So that would be my grant proposal if we had to come up with a grant. Thank you for listening. Y'all have a great weekend.